Hi, welcome to Brant Ranch Garage. Today we're starting back on the camper truck 292 engine. I've disassembled the heads and we're working on installing these upgraded valve springs from Isky. If you can see, there is a very substantial valve stem boss that we need to machine down. And we've got this cutter from the 289 project that we're going to use. So we'll be cutting down almost a ½ inch into there. And then when we're done with that, we may have to lower this surface too, so that the retainer doesn't hit the valve stem seal at full lift of the cam. So we've got quite a bit of material to machine. Let's hope that we can get it all done without wearing out the cutter. It's quite a bit to do. So I'm going to get started and I'll show you progress as we go. Okay, I have one of the valve spring seats machined down to where it needs to be, and I've also installed one of the valve stem seals. So I'm going to put the valve in and see how much movement I have between the retainer and that valve stem seal, because I think I'll probably have to machine that down some as well. And I'd like to do it all in one step. Okay, so I've got the valve stem seals in there and the retainers installed. And so we're going to measure this distance and make sure that it's reasonably more than the cam lift, which is 0.425 inches. Okay, I have all the spring seats cut now, and I did a little research on the retainer to valve stem seal dimension. If you remember, mine was 0.035, and after researching it said that most people like at least 0.06. So I decided to cut the stems down, and my seals are pretty shallow, so I thought I could get away with cutting them down this much. And that's about, I just did it by eye, but that's about 90 thousandths. So I've got a new seal on there, and I'm going to measure the distance now, make sure that we're in good shape. So there's the cutter that I used. It's actually for a bigger valve stem seal, but I was just trying to cut the top, so it worked perfectly for that. And it's using the same 11/32 arbor that I used on the seat cutter. So we're in good shape. Open to close, we have 0.102 of clearance, and we wanted 0.06. So, yep, that's the deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the valve stems on the other head to match, and I think we're good to go. We'll have to get all these chips cleaned up. Okay, so the heads are all cleaned, and I started in on setting up the valve spring height. I have a shim kit, but ran into a little issue. I hope you can see these. So our spring installed height is 1.75, and all of our standard heights are around 1.8 something. So that's kind of a lot to make up for with shims, because my thickest shim is a 30 thousandths, and I really don't want to have more than one shim on a valve. So I came up with a couple different options, and I ordered two different things to solve this. I ordered some 50 thousandths lower valve keepers, retainer keepers, and I also ordered some hardened valve seats. So the hardened valve seats are 0.060 thick, and the offset keepers are 0.050 difference. So given the numbers, I really have decided to use the hardened valve seats because they will get me close, and I can easily make up the difference with shims, one shim, and also they don't take away from the retainer to valve seal clearance. Because if I did the lowered keepers, then I would be losing some of that height, and you know, if I was at 0.1 inch, I would cut that in half, and that's less than 0.6 that I wanted. So here's what they look like. Fits right down on there. I was able to find the right size to fit there. And then when I install the valve, it'll be at a little lower than the correct installed height of 1.75, but I would rather err on the high end for more spring pressure than the low end. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this head now. Okay, so we're almost done. I got down to the last one and no spring, so they shorted me one. I'll have to call Isky tomorrow on Monday and see if I can convince them to send me another one. Pretty happy with how it all turned out. It was a lot of work to machine those seats down, but I think it's going to be worth it. When you look at the original spring, I can compress that with my hand. So these are going to be so much better, sustaining higher RPMs. Good to go. And I'm happy with the hardened spring seats too. I think that was the right call. And then we didn't have to, you know, order another tool to cut the valve stem seals again. So good to go. Thanks for watching. Take care.